Hey there, Bernie Miklasz with you. I am so happy on this Friday to be with you again. Welcome to the Bernie Show here on sportshubstl.com, where you can find all of my videos, all the columns that I write, plus the podcast version of these videos. The Bernie Show is presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. I got a topic I really like today. It's timely, of course, but I wanted to get into this. I was like up late last night making notes. I was so fired up. All right, the Cardinals open a 9-game road trip in Washington D.C. tonight. And they'll have Ivan Herrera back in action at the major league level for the first time since April 6th. After recovering from a knee injury, Herrera's been taking some swings at AAA Memphis to shake off the rust after a month-long absence, and he's ready to hit. And that is great news for the Cardinals. To make room for Herrera, the Cardinals option Luken Baker to Memphis. More on all of this later. Herrera is already always ready to hit. He has a special talent because he combines power with a lot of walks, a high on base percentage. He's got a robust batting average. Gosh, the guy is just a natural hitter. He's kind of a scary hitter too, and he's still a baby, so to speak, right? In 92 games for the Cardinals since the start of the 2023 season. See, he had a cup of coffee up here in 2022. I didn't use that. There was just no point. He wasn't ready for the majors. He only had a few at-bats anyway. So since the start of the 2023 season, Herrera's got a 307 average. His on-base percentage is 383. His slugging percentage is 463. All of those numbers are fantastic. And his adjusted OPS is 36% above the league average over the last 2+ seasons. In fact, among right-handed actually all hitters that have, the sufficient amount of plate appearances during that time, he's got the 10th best OPS plus in the National League. This is a really, really good hitter. And he was off to a booming start this season before the knee injury took Herrera out of the lineup. Before that terrible moment, and that was scary looking, Herrera was hitting 388. He had 4 home runs and 2 doubles, and he knocked in 11 runs in only 21 at-bats. Yeah, I would say it's good to have him back in the lineup. And while his major league sample size isn't that large, you don't have to get too picky about it. Either guy can hit, and you know it if he can. And if he can't hit, or he's never shown any signs of hitting, well, probably not much of a hitter, or you got to lower your expectations. Herrera can do it all as far as hitting. He can hit at home. He can hit on the road. He can hit lefties. He can hit righties. He can hit relievers. He can hit starters. He can hit at night. He can hit during the day. Probably could hit if you had a game that started at 3 a.m. He'd probably be your best hitter then too. And I mentioned this, and I screwed the stat up, but since the start of the 2023, his OPS plus leads the Cardinals and ranks 10th among National League hitters that have taken at least 300 plate appearances. So this is a great time, the perfect time for Herrera to return. There's 3 reasons. Well, he's just an elite hitter. That's A. B, the Cardinals are embarrassingly poor, awful in terms of production from the designated hitter spot. And C, the Cardinals need to score more runs on the road. It's one of the reasons why they, go into Washington with a 4-13 road record this season. So that's why the time is right, man. He checks a lot of boxes. And yeah, I'm all in on endorsing Herrera to serve as the full-time DH. I do not hesitate to say this because having Herrera as your primary DH is smart, it is obvious, and there is no reason to act like this is some agonizingly tough decision. And yet I'm seeing some of that, and I can't figure it out. More on that later. Here's the thing. And I was the first person in the media to make an issue of this, and I started a while back, and now everybody's starting to make an issue of it. I love when that happens. But anyway, this season, the Cardinals cast of designated hitters have a 197 average. That ranks 27th in the majors among DH groups. They're incredibly anemic 250 slugging percentage, ranks last in the majors. Their 541 OPS is awful. It ranks 29th. And think about this one. There's 2 more stats to show you about this, and they're both laughable. They're so bad. This season, St. Louis designated hitters have 1 home run and only 4 runs batted in to show for their 151 plate appearances. And it's even worse when we talk about the road and the Cardinals' struggles offensively on the road. I put this one on X earlier this morning. Let's crank it up again here on the Bernie Show. In 69 plate appearances on the road this season, 69 times a DH has stepped into the batter's box. The St. Louis DHs have no home runs, no runs batted in, 1 double, and a 100 batting average with runners in scoring position. I mean, this stuff defies belief. And yet there's people out there, well, I don't know. They got to develop Herrera as a catcher. No, he's a hitter, okay? He's a hitter. That's what he does best. And they have people who can catch. As I keep saying, more on that later. Seriously now, you can't do worse than what the Cardinals are doing at a position, designated hitter, that was created for the very purpose of boosting offense. The Cardinals DHs in 2025 have actually weakened the offense. They're a liability. And yet the strangest dang thing is happening out there. I see media peoples worrying about how putting Herrera at DH will affect Alec Burleson. It'll affect Nolan Gorman. It's going to affect Luke and Baker. I'm sorry for being a jerk, but this stuff just drives me bananas. I see media people worrying about, Wilson Contreras won't be able to take as many DH at bats with Herrera as the DH. That's a good thing, and I'll explain that. That's a good thing. What in the world? All of these guys that I mentioned that have been rotating in this endless cycle of DHs, one after another, used by the Cardinals this year. All of these guys have been below average offensively when used at designated hitter, using the WRC plus metric, and all you need to know is 100 is average. It adjusts for park and league effects. Burleson is 17% below league average as a DH. Baker was 40% below average as a DH, and yet people carry on about him like he's Aaron Judge or something. Good grief. Nolan Gorman is 16% below league average as DH. And Contreras this year, and I even have more on this year, Contreras is 64% below the league average when he's used at DH. But Contreras won't be able to have as many at-bats as DH. Yeah, like I said, great. Why would you want him to be a DH? And there's more numbers on that. Except for Baker, all the guys I mentioned perform a lot better offensively when they're in the lineup as a position player. Being a part-time DH is not an easy thing to do for everybody. In fact, there's more in terms of giving you some perspective on that. And I'm going to do that here in a moment. But first, let me speak on DraftKings, because I love to do that. If you think you know Major League Baseball, the NHL, the NBA, or any sport you prefer, then put that knowledge to use. Let's go. Have some fun and win some cash prizes. And DraftKings Pick 6, you just focus on player stats. You pick at least 2 players or more, and you choose whether that player will go higher or lower on a specific stat listed by DraftKings. Yeah, it's really that simple. And there are so many players and options to choose from, and in nearly every sport. So check it out. Make your selections, take your best shot, and have a lot of fun pulling in that cash money. Pick 6 is available in our state, Missouri, plus California, Texas, Georgia, and more. Playing is entertaining. You follow your selections while a game is going on. It just adds to your, enhances your viewing pleasure. And it is part of the entertainment. But the real entertainment is winning money through DraftKings Pick 6. It's so easy to get started. You just download the DraftKings app, you open an account, then you choose a sport, you pick your players, and go for it. New players at DraftKings get $50 in Pick 6 credits instantly with just a $5 entry. So download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Don't wait. And use the code STL Sports. That's code STL Sports for new customers to play $5. Get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Outstanding. Better payouts, bigger wins, Only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, back to our Friday topic. Why Ivan Herrera is just what the Cardinals need as a designated hitter, and it is the proverbial no-brainer. Just because a guy is a good hitter overall, it doesn't mean that he'll thrive as a DH. But by the way, Ivan Herrera, when he's been used, I always say Ivan, and I apologize for that. Ivan Herrera has been outstanding in his limited duty as a designated hitter. You know why? Because he can hit. You can put him in, I don't care where you want to play him. He's going to hit. Our friend Dane Perry, and you should subscribe to this. He authors the excellent Birdie Work blog on Substack. Please subscribe to it. It's a very, very low price, and you'll enjoy his work. I know I do. I appreciate this. He pointed to a study done a while back by Baseball Prospectus. The research done by Russell Carlton showed that the guys that take most of their at-bats as the designated hitter do better as hitters, as opposed to position player starters who are only used at DH or, on a minimal level or on a part-time basis. So the guys that you plug in at DH and you keep them there, they get better results than the guys that you're cycling through. You're trying to use the cast of thousands to handle the DH spot. It seems like it would work, but it doesn't. No, I mean, it doesn't the way it should. It's certainly not with the Cardinals, but it's true of so many teams. You want a designated hitter, make someone the designated hitter. A good example of this is Wilson Contreras. I told you I'd get back to it. As a Cardinal, Contreras is about 5% below league average offensively when he takes DH at bats. But when he's caught or played first base, Wilson Contreras' offense is 43% above the league average. This is the classic example of what we're talking about, based on that research done by Baseball Prospectus. Now, over the last 3 seasons, the same thing applies to Nolan Arenado. His offense isn't as good when he's at DH as opposed to playing third base. This was also true of Paul Goldschmidt in his final 2 seasons as a Cardinal. His DH numbers were not nearly as good as his first base numbers. And for all the wildly enthusiastic Luke and Baker fans out there, the big fellas work as a DH, as a Cardinal, 30% below league average. Come on now. And yet these fine people out there are wringing their hands at displacing Baker, Burleson, Contreras, and others at DH when none of them have put up good numbers at DH. Listen, Burleson can play first base. He can help out there. He can play a corner outfield position. Nolan Gorman's going to have to show that he can hit, but I would think the Cardinals think they can win something. Well, this isn't the time to be, really nice to people. You go with your best hitters, and I know that they're not going to be doing that with Jordan Walker in the lineup and Nolan Gorman in the lineup. And okay, I get it, but sometimes you do make exceptions because these are young guys with a bright future if they can get things clicking. But back to the topic that really matters. The Cardinals have the worst offense from the DH spot in the majors this season, and now they have the ideal guy to fill that role. And of course, using Herrera at DH makes sense for another reason here, defense. And I've got some really revealing numbers to present to you on this topic. But trust me, Cardinals need to stick with Pedro Paez and Yoel Pozo as their catching tandem going forward. And yeah, I got the numbers on that too. But first, hey man, I'm a businessman. I work for a living. It's also time for me to do some business, right? But I like doing business when I'm talking about BlueChew because, gentlemen, they're a sponsor of the Bernie Show and they can help you. I believe in it because I've lived it, right? Gentlemen, especially men of a certain age, that would be my age, and I'm up there, but I feel young. Listen up, because BlueChew can help you have a more pleasurable and fulfilling life with your significant other. Trust me, I do not feel awkward discussing the subject. There is no reason in the world for you to feel uncomfortable as I talk about it. See, this issue is applied to me. It is applied and does apply to a significant percentage of men, including me. So there's no reason to shy away from getting the help you need. It's just like anything else you would try to get help for if you're not feeling right or you're not doing something right. And there's a remedy for it, right? So what's the big deal? Go get the help. BlueChew is an original brand offering chewable tablets for enhanced intimacy. Think of BlueChew as your leadoff hitter when it's time to turn your attention away from sports or TV and focus on your partner. You will get the first month of BlueChew free. A home run of a night is just a few clicks away. And yeah, it's really that easy to get going. You sign up at BlueChew.com. You consult with one of their licensed medical providers. And once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. BlueChew tablets are made and prepared here in the USA, and they're shipped directly to your door. It's all done online. There's no visits to the doctor's office. It takes all that time. No awkward conversations you'd rather not have. No waiting in line at the pharmacy, and we know how that can be. This is easy. You just order online and you're all set. Trust Uncle Bernie when I tell you. There's nothing more attractive to your partner than confidence, and BlueChew can help give you the confidence you need, the confidence where it counts. And we've got a special deal for our listeners because we love our listeners. Try your first month of BlueChew free when you choose promo code Bernie. Just pay $5 shipping. That's it. That's promo code Bernie. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank BlueChew for sponsoring the Bernie Show. All right. Final segment here on the Herrera DH and catching situation. By using Herrera as your primary DH and sticking with Pages and Pozo at catcher, the Cardinals would do two important things here. Two obvious things, important things. Number one, maximize their offense at DH, where they are awful. They can maximize it. They can have one of the best DHs in baseball in Ivan Herrera. And number two, they would maximize their defense at catcher. That's a win-win. Having Herrera at DH instead of utilizing him extensively at catcher would also protect him from re-aggravating that knee injury. There's no reason, given the outstanding bat that he carries around, there's just no reason whatsoever to expose Herrera to more damage and more punishment at the most physically challenging and taxing and dangerous position on the field. There's also another obvious reason, and I don't enjoy saying this. Herrera cannot prevent teams from stealing bases on him. His framing is fine. His pitch blocking is fine. I think the pitchers like him fine. But he just cannot throw out enough runners to give opponents any reason to slow down instead of accelerating as soon as they get on first base or even second base and stealing at will, unchecked. Since the start of the 2023 season, opponents have they've attempted 72 steals against Herrera, and they've made it 66 times. So he's got a throwout rate since the start of 2023. His throwout rate is a little over 8%. And as much as he's worked on becoming better at policing the running game, and he has worked very hard, Herrera has actually gotten worse at it. Over the last two seasons, his caught stealing rate is 6%. This season, before the injury, opponents tried to steal on him 7 times, and they made it every time. Herrera did not throw out one of them. So, on the other hand, the Cardinals have one of the best steal prevention catchers in the majors. Pages is that. And yeah, I brought the numbers. This season, Pages has cut down on 35% of the runners who have tried to steal on him. That's a really terrific rate because the major league average for caught stealing is 22%. He's 13% above that. Among catchers that have caught at least 150 innings this season, and there's 34 of them, Pages' caught stealing rate ranks 6th out of 34. Good. It's even better among catchers if you raise the ante a little bit. Among catchers that have worked at least 200 innings behind a plate, Pages' 35% throwout rate is the 3rd best, behind Milwaukee's William Contreras and San Francisco's Andrew Bailey. Pozo's actually done pretty well at this task as well. I mean, he's thrown out 19% of the runners that have tried on him. That's a little bit below league average, but only a little bit. Between the two of them, you put this together. Pages and Pozo have a caught stealing rate of 22%. That's 7%. Actually, it's 29%. Pardon me. They have a caught stealing rate combined of 29%. That's 7% above the league average. And Herrera, well, as I mentioned earlier, his caught stealing rate is 0 this season and only 6% since the start of 2024. The difference between Pages, Pozo, and Herrera is especially significant when we factor in something else that's really important. The NL Central is the best division at stealing bases. And the Cardinals' division rivals just go crazy stealing bases. This season, including the Cardinals, you put them in it, NL Central teams have combined for 204 steals, which leads all divisions by a large margin. Now, let's remove the Cardinals from this because they rank 19th in the majors with 27 steals. And besides, the Cardinals don't play against themselves. So let's look at the other National League Central teams. The Cubs lead the majors with 48 steals. The Brewers are second with 46 steals. The Reds are sixth with 43. The Pirates are ninth with 40. And those 4 teams, by the way, their success rate at stealing bases is 81%. 81%. And think about this. So 4 of the top 9 teams in terms of teams stealing bases. I'm mangling this and I apologize. But the NL Central's got 4 of the top 9 teams in stolen bases in the majors so far this year. So that's even another reason why you put Herrera at DH and you be happy about it. You don't worry about Luke and Baker, okay? How are the Cardinals going to stop the Cubs, Brewers, Reds, and Pirates from running wild, almost unchallenged with Herrera at catcher? And think about this too. If you remember, before he got hurt, manager Ali Marmol was already removing Herrera out of the game late in games when the Cardinals had a lead. They don't have to do that anymore. You just keep him in a DH. You don't have to worry about subbing him out because you're afraid that the opponents are going to steal bases on you in a tight game when you got a 1-run lead. Why? And once again, why would you want Herrera to get hurt again as catcher when his bat is so vitally important to an offense that does not have any production from DH this season? Does that make any sense at all? At least Pages and Pozo give opponents some pause when they're thinking about running. And again, the 2 of them together have an above average caught stealing rate. Here's one more thing, especially for those who are clutching the worry beads about Baker going down or whatever. I'm beating that to death and I apologize. Pozo's been a hell of a hitter for the Cardinals so far. He's hitting .316 with a .474 slug. He's a better right-handed hitter than Baker, especially against right-handed pitchers. And he's just as effective, if not more so, than Baker against left-handed pitchers. And Pozo hits right-handed pitchers better so far than, Alec Burleson has this year or Nolan Gorman. It's a small sample. I get it. But since the start of the 2021 season, Pozo has had a .545 slugging percentage at AAA. So the man has power. And he also gives you a more capable pinch hitting presence coming off the bench if you need that one key at bat late in games. He makes great contact, too. He doesn't strike out much. I mean, he rips, right? He's a grip it and rip it guy. He's really interesting. He ain't going to walk, but he doesn't strike out much either. So you might be thinking as I try to wind this down here, well, wait a minute. Weren't the Cardinals committed to developing Herrera catcher? Sure they were, but the plans changed, didn't they? He got hurt, and the plans have changed when you've had time to reflect on it, and it's obvious he cannot stop opponents from stealing bases on him and running free on him. And also, you got to keep in mind, big picture, talk about this runway all the time. The Cardinals are very deep at the catcher position. There is Pages, there is Pozo. The Cardinals have several highly regarded catching prospects, making their way gradually to St. Louis, and Jimmy Crooks, Leonardo Bernal, Ryan Campos, Rainiel Rodriguez. You can't have them all in St. Louis, my friends. So, one thing you do is you make a decision now and you say, okay, we got so much catching, we ain't going to know what to do with it a year from now or 2 years from now. So Herrera does one thing extremely well. He hits. So let him hit and hit and hit and hit and hit. The Cardinals don't need Herrera to catch because they got that covered this year. The position is in great hands this year, and they're going to have too much coverage that they know what to do with at the catching position in years after 25 because they got all these guys on the way. This is so simple. To repeat, your offense is better with Herrera at DH. Your offense is better with Herrera at DH because it's the worst position offensively you have on the team. And this team desperately needs offense from the designated hitter spot. And your catcher defense and throwout rates are much, much better with Pages and Pozo catching. So what in the heck is there to think about here? What's with all this agonizing? There's nothing to think about. Give Herrera a bat and let him do his thing. Simple. That's all for me today. Mom, I told you I was fired up. That's all for me today, except for my upcoming column that I'm going to write soon on the Cardinals' road troubles. Thanks to DraftKings, as always, for presenting the Bernie Show. More than anything, thanks to all of you for supporting my work and for putting up with me when I get sarcastic and act like a jerk. But I can't help myself. Sometimes the boys got to let it go, right? You all have a great weekend. Appreciate you very much, and thanks for watching the Bernie Show.